the day I left to basic training. Because, you know, mom and dad aren't there anymore. I can't just run and like, I need $50. I need, you know, well, you could, but it's not the same when you're responsible for doing it yourself. I was only 17, but no, now I'm considered an adult. Now I have to, you know, I'm responsible for my own actions now.
Some of the guys that had been in that unit for a while, and by midday they're like, oh, come over here. We found a spot where we can just kind of hide and sleep, you know? And they created this like cargo container, and they had pillows in there. We're just like hanging out. I'm like, oh, this is what this is like. And we got found, right? And luckily, the guy that found us, at the time, Staff Sergeant Sandoval, he was our company gunny, pulled me aside and he said, look, you're new here, and you've got some decisions to make about how you want to spend your time in service. Now, when you signed up, I don't think you were thinking about sleeping in a box when you decided to serve as a Marine.
As soon as I stepped on those yellow footprints, you ask any enlisted, I don't know if they have an officer, but you ask, I'm pretty sure they do. Any enlisted, as soon as you step those yellow lines and you read the article Code of Conduct, your life changes.
I think every soldier in combat has that moment of truth. It's interesting, I wrote, one of the chapters in my book is called The Boot. I was on one of my first missions, and we were doing a sweep through rice paddy, and I came upon a jungle boot, and I thought, you know, I wrote, I had this immediate rush to judgment. How careless, the trooper has left his boot out here, and I leaned over and I could see this jagged shin bone from his rotting foot sticking up. And it touched me in a way that nothing before or since touched me. No body, no death ever affected me as much as that.
Graduation from basic training. Because I was 26, I turned 27 in the Army, in basic training. And at 26, I didn't think I had it together, and I was like irresponsible and like no real direction. And I remember the days leading up to our graduation. I looked at my body and I was like, wow, this is a whole new body. And my mind was, you know, focused, and I had started thinking about a career in, like 20-year career in the Army, because I was like, my whole world had changed.
There was a moment where I had like, I don't know, probably 60 or 80 pounds of gear on my body, and was climbing a mountain with all these other Marines, and my lungs were on fire. Never experienced that before in my life. Sometimes I tell people, boy, the Marines really broke me. Something snapped. Like I felt like nobody's going to f me anymore, pardon my French.